Boom, shake, shake, shake the room, and we are live. Hello, hello, gorgeous, divine, intuitive. It's Tiffany here, and welcome replay viewers as well. You can skip the first bit of intro and go straight to why intuitives find it hard to express themselves and how to turn it around. Like your life depends on it, because it does. So yes, that is exactly what we are doing here today. But let me just tell you a little bit about my background so you know that you're in safe hands. So my name is Tiffany Crosara. I am an inner transformation specialist, author, courage catalyst, and the boho CEO of the multi-award-winning brand, The Transformational Truth of Tarot. And I stand for all intuitives out there that feel like they have been told that they should feel shame rather than shine, that they have been told that they are wacky and weird rather than wonderful, that they are freaks or frauds. Ooh, the list goes on. It's really important now, more than ever before in our history, with so many movements rising up like LGBTQ and Black Lives Matter, just to name a couple, that actually us intuitives learn to stand together a little bit more, because you only have to take a look at the Equality Act of 2010 to see that we are missing. So race, gender, beliefs and religion and the way people are included in the Equality Act. However, being this way inclined, unfortunately, isn't seen as a religion, a belief, something to respect, or the way that we are. Go and take a look at the Equality Act if you don't believe me. So unfortunately, we are just as silenced as we have always been ever since the time of witch burning, which actually, well, maybe not the burning part, but the law of the Witchcraft Act didn't actually get abolished until 1953. The last woman in England who was tried under the Witchcraft Act was in 1952. I think her name was Helen Duncan. She was a physical medium, and yeah, that's a whole nother story. But today we are on this topic. You can tell I'm a little bit passionate about this topic, and the reason that I'm passionate about this topic is because being an intuitive all the way through my life and working with thousands of intuitives, I noticed that we had very common parallel paths that actually meant that we weren't using our intuition as intuition. We were using our intuition as what I call outuition. And I have been doing a series with you going through each of these 10 symptoms that I have recognized of using your intuition as outuition. And when you're doing that, it's really hard for you to know what you need, what you want, let alone be able to express it. And this symptom is probably one I have struggled with. It's a higher score for me. So I'm really dialed in, and I'm really passionate about helping you to connect to what you need and what you want in order to actually rise, shine, allow yourself to have it, those purposes, those partnerships and everything along those lines that will be blocked by you using your intuition, not actually as intuition, but as what I term outuition. Okay, so hey, nice to see you here, Jay. I'm glad that you're popping in. Hi, Marie, good to see you as well, and Andre from Portugal. Andre, just to let you know, you might not want to be on this live because it's not, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Society sees us as a certain way, okay? So often this happens. I will go on a live and someone will start asking me when they will get something. Okay, so Andre, you're asking for a reading, and that is my past life. In this life, what I do is I help intuitives use their intuition to tune back into them. So my brand, the Transformational Truth of Tarot, is about using the tarot to tune back into you. So there's Transformative Tarot and there's Predictive Tarot. So what you're asking for here, and no shame in that, but it's just not what I do. What you're asking for is Predictive Tarot, i.e. what is going to happen outside of myself. Okay, so I can feel like I have some control in my life. Now that is using your intuition as outuition. So thank you for saying this, because it gives me a chance to actually kind of click in and just give you information about that. So what I do, Transformative Tarot, is I help people connect their intuition through Transformative Tarot, which means using the tarot as a mirror to tune into what is going on inside of them. What do they want? What are their needs? And how can they express it so they can actually start to receive it? Because it is actually only then that it happens. So that's why I am called an inner transformation specialist. First of all, you have to have that peace. You have to have that peace that says, I know what I want. And as intuitives, we are so used to using our intuition as outuition, i.e. tuning into what other people, picking up on other people, that we get, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to actually know what we need and want. So that's piece number one to do. Number two, then you've got to find a way that you can actually communicate it that is free from shame or guilt or blame or anything along those lines. And that's what we're going to look at today. That is a real core point. And it's only then that you can actually really start to receive it. Okay, so that's the work I do. So stick around if you want to go, oh, okay, then actually this is all down to me. It's all down to my timing and what I can do, how I can actually turn my life around. The power is all with me, and isn't that flipping exciting? And the tarot can help me to tune in to that. So we are going to do a little transformative tarot tip at the end. So stick around if you want an example of what I'm talking about, of how to use the tarot to help you tune in to the infinite power and magic and mystery that is inside of you and unlock that. Hi Bernie, good to see you here. So before we get started, if anyone here knows that is listening and going, actually, there's people I know that need to know about this, please do tag them, or please do give me a share. Just let them know. They'll be really pleased that you did. This is kind of groundbreaking material. You know, it's all fresh, it's all new. Like I said, the Equality Act, we're not even getting a look into. And I've been working really hard during lockdown to get this material through to you in written form. And that will be coming up soon. And I'll show you some of what you will be able to get to help you with that. Okay, but right now we're going to crack on and we're going to look at what, hang on a minute, I'm just going to go to the banners to show you, yeah, so we're going to do this first bit here. Why, when you are intuitive, you struggle with communication. That's the first piece I'm going to take you through. And then we're going to look at why your life depends on being able to find the right words and at the right time. And I'm not exaggerating here, and how doing so nearly cost me mine. So I'm going to share you a little story of mine about that. And then we will do the transformative tarot and piece at the end. Okay, just to rectify us. So it shouldn't be long. I will come and do questions afterwards, so I will stay on for the questions, but the actual delivery of the piece, I'm only going to come back to your comments and questions periodically, and I will probably answer them at the end, just so we get through the actual content first, and then anybody that wants to ask questions can do so after that. So let's begin. Da, da, da. What would we like to begin with? Why, when you are intuitive, you struggle with communication. So we've touched on that a little bit. I've spoken about, the outuition piece, but let me just share my screen to show you so you get it a little bit better. Okay, so share. Oh, what a trippy screen. Hang on. Let's try that. Is that better? Can you see this? I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can. Okay. All right. So basically, this is what I've been working on. It's the 10 transformational truths of using your intuition as outuition, and also the symptoms. So these are the symptoms of using your intuition as outuition, i.e. tuning out of yourself and into someone else. Okay. Number 1, over emotional misunderstandings. Number 2, feeling everything personally. So it's not only taking things personally, but it's because you're tuning into other people, you're feeling their stuff. And sometimes you do this so much that you don't even realize it's not your stuff. Anyone here had that? If you resonate with them, you can put the numbers in the chat box of the ones you resonate with. I often say rate it, between 1 and 10 as you follow along. And so day by day, they can go up and down. So it's always good to just follow along and do it, even if you've done it before. So number 1, over emotional misunderstandings a few years ago would have been a 10 for me. Now it's a 1. Maybe even a 0. No, I guess 1. It's got to happen sometimes. I think maybe less than that, 0.5. Okay, but I know that it is a symptom of being an outuitive, which is an intuitive that uses their intuition to tune out of themselves and into another person. Number 3, struggle to know your own reality, because when you do that, how do you know what is your own reality if you're picking up all this stuff from other people? And then maybe you start making assumptions because your reference point of reality is not real. Gosh, I mean, Don Miguel Ruiz's agreement number 3, which is don't make assumptions. He says, if you just practice that one of the 4 agreements, that your life will change, it will transform your life and cut out all drama and sadness. So imagine just how much comes in from our reference point being flooded with everybody else's. And then you'll start to want to prove an improvable thing. And you'll go into overtrying, overdoing, and overwhelm and overkill, which is a complete self-sabotage mode of being jammed on out rather than in. So nothing, you can't receive anything because you're just going out, 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 out all the time. Okay. So then how can you know what you need or what you want? I have struggled with this massively, I will say, and it's still quite high. I will say I have to work on it every single day, staying conscious all the time. And we'll talk a bit about ways you can do that, because as an intuitive that uses their intuition to tune out of themselves in outuitive ways, it is a real challenge to constantly be tuning into what your needs and what your wants are, and give yourself permission to actually receive them, because you've probably been trained to be what also is termed a needless, wantless, anti-dependent. And if your needs or wants get filled, then you are likely to probably have some guilt around that as well. I just had that yesterday and the day before, when a couple of gorgeous, lovely people in my community were so generous to me, and it was like, this isn't right, this isn't equal, this isn't fair. Like, one was offering me something that was I knew right now she would not get any benefit from. In fact, both of them were, and that brought up massive stuff for me around receiving. So it's an ongoing practice. And then what we're doing today, can't express yourself until it's too late, because this actually ties in with knowing your needs and your wants. Yes, if you don't know what you need or what you want, then you won't be able to express yourself until it's too late. And me personally, I was so cut off from what I needed and what I wanted that I wasn't able to express myself until it was literally too late. I will talk to you about that in a minute. Okay. And then you've got bouncing from no boundaries to big barriers. Sometimes people don't resonate with this because of the actual sentence structure, even bouncing from no boundaries to big barriers. But it doesn't mean that you have to bounce from no boundaries to big barriers. It means if you have no boundaries, if you have big barriers, or you bounce between the two, then you're in this camp. Okay, so just making that clear. Yeah, and a example of that is feeling like you are too much like a hermit, or a lone wolf is often a phrase that is bandied about by my clients. That means you've got some big barriers. Okay, and then there's the other side of it, which is like your life is totally chaotic and crazy because you have no boundaries. And it may be that the lone wolf suddenly goes, oh, I have to let down my walls and go out there because I'm just a hermit, and this needs to change. And because they know it's not really making them happy deep down inside, they know they have to do it, right? But actually what happens is they just get more reasons to put the even bigger barriers up, okay? Because a discernment piece is missing, right? So I work with people on that as well. And then we go to the place of like no boundaries, and I work with people on how to stand for who they are and how to communicate who they are and say what is okay and what isn't okay, and stick to it as well. Okay, but just say you're in that place now of not having boundaries or having big barriers, then you're going to feel like you don't belong anywhere. Anyway, whether you've got no boundaries and you're here, there, and everywhere, it's not a feeling of belonging. And if you have big barriers, you won't feel like you belong either. So this is a very key one I have seen in intuitives that are actually outuitives, and that is the feeling that they don't belong. Again, that was a really big one with me, but I'm happy to say, like, over emotional misunderstandings, it's a thing of the past. And this all boils down to being able to struggle, being able to obtain healthy self-esteem. It's like if you knew you were inherently worthy, you'd be fine. But actually, intuitives that use their intuition as outuition have been trained to do so from their childhood, from the moment that they saw that their parents' needs were more important than their own, and they started to tiptoe around the parents' needs. That's the moment that your intuition started to actually not be in tune with your needs and wants because it wasn't safe to be. It was like a survival pulse of like, I have to stay tuned in to the moods that my parents are in. And that's where outuition comes from. So it is actually a fundamental issue with self-esteem. It's that moment where self-esteem got broken and you started to replace it with other esteem, except you can't replace it. It's just like having a broken bone or a problem with your leg, for instance, and it's not addressed. And so over time, your body will overcompensate, but that just causes more problems. And as you grow up, these problems start to come in the form of self-esteem, communication, relationships, knowing what you need and want, being able to communicate it, and being able to just live that life that you really wanted to, that you saw, the big dream, that tangible thing when you started the spiritual path, but it's just not happening. Yeah, this is why. And this is why I do this work. And this is why I stand for the intuitives, because it's when we heal self-esteem, that is when the whole world heals. If everybody came from a place of healthy self-esteem, there would be no fear, no lack, no greed, no war. And so this is what I stand for. Most people think it's tarot. Transformative tarot is the vehicle I use, but the whole reason that I do what I do is this. Yes. And I'm finally getting clear enough to speak to you, to be able to articulate that to you. Yes. And that's what we're talking about today. So let me just come back and see where we're at, and then I'll tell you the story and we'll move on to the tarot tip. Okay. So I'm just stopping screen sharing for a moment. I'm coming back to the comments. Okay. Jay is saying internal tarot is a term I coined for exactly what you're discussing now, looking within for the answers and transformation you're looking for on the outside. What can be done inside? Yes, 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 to change what's outside. Absolutely. Then you're in the right place, Jay. Awesome. Paulo Coelho, the alchemist quote, when you change within, the universe conspires to work with you. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Jay. I miss you too, Esther. Come back. We've got lots of great things happening in the group, my group, Inner Transformation with Tiffany Crosara. So anybody that's not in my Facebook group, there are going to be lots of things happening in that group as the summer draws on. So do check out for that community, because there's going to be some fun, fab things. Jay is saying that's me bouncing between lack of boundaries to overwhelming barriers and restrictions. Oh, Jay, you probably want to do the next one on Friday, which is going to be all about symptom number 8, that very, very symptom. Okay. Yes, makes absolute sense. My mind has exploded. Bless. I hope that it didn't hurt. Okay, so let's move on. And if you have any questions, do let me know. Just stick them in, okay? Because that's the whole point of being on a live, isn't it? You can get my live help. All right, and it helps everyone. There's no such thing as a silly question. There's so many people out there thinking the same thing, but not being brave enough to actually ask for it. So all you need is a couple of seconds of courage just to type it in and press chat or send even. I just looked at the chat bar and chat came out my mouth instead of send. Right, so let's move on to our middle section before the end. I am just going to get the banner up, which is why your life depends on being able to find the right words at the right time. Sorry about the typo. It's not the right word, obviously. And how your life depends on it, and how not doing so nearly cost mine. So I did just share with you how one of my higher rating ones is not knowing my needs and my wants. And this has been really challenging throughout my life. And I've been doing a lot of work on it, and I'll show you how, because that's the last part. I'm going to show you how you can start to change it for yourself if you resonate, okay? I particularly started doing a lot of work on it in 2016, and what I did means that I am way more tuned into what I need and I want more than ever before, although I'm still aware that there is a long way to go. I have also found how to communicate what I need and want. That's better. So in a way, this live number 7, the one about not being able to find your words until it's too late, that's not so bad for me now. But it still trips me up when I don't know what I need or what I want. So that is my core piece, is still working on that. And I wonder which one is yours. Is it knowing how to communicate your needs and wants, or is it actually knowing your needs and wants? It would be good to know if you want to put that in the chat box. So there's 2 pieces. Yes, and we're going to actually address both of them today on this live. But let me just tell you how important this is with a little story. And this only happened a year ago. Last year, we went to WOMAD because my family loves WOMAD and we live just down the road from it. And when I say we went to WOMAD, it was actually my family went to WOMAD and I stayed at home and worked, but I went for the day on Sunday, and we decided that we were going to drive home that night. Okay, so it got to about 12 midnight. Everybody was having fun and partying, and I suddenly, and I mean suddenly, felt exhausted. It was like this wall of tiredness is the only way I can explain it. Just hit me smack bang in the face. Like I should have realized I was tired 2 or 3 hours earlier, and I hadn't, because being in that environment of a festival, I was tuning out to everybody else. Everyone else was having a great time, and I was fine. You know, I'll be here because my family kind of really want me to be here and show, and it's about them more than it was about me. And yeah, I should try and have a nice time with them, right? So anyway, because I have got to the place where I'm better to communicate things now in a way that means that I can receive them. Before, I couldn't communicate at all. And by the time that I did, it would come out with so much anger and so much upset that the very thing that I wanted would just actually not happen. I couldn't get it. It was a rolling ball of self-sabotage. But now I'm in a place where I can actually ask for it. So as soon as I was aware that what I needed to do was go to bed, I could ask for it and it got met straight away. But the problem really was that I didn't know, or I knew too late. Okay, because on the way home, I nearly came off the motorway into a bridge wall. Luckily, none of the family were with me. I was in my car by myself, and luckily there was a car behind me that was flashing their lights and beeping their horn, and it got my attention. And that is why, just take that in a minute, that is why this work is so fundamental. It's not even the opportunities that it costs you or the relationships that it costs you, which it does, both of those. It's that your life depends on being able to tune into your needs and your wants and to be able to express them. As a child, when you were tuning into your caregivers, your survival was built on that. Your ability to tune into what your caregivers needed and wanted from you was your survival mode, right? But as an adult, it's that learned behavior that actually blocks you to the point that it could cost you your survival. So just take that in. That's the importance of this work. And you are worthy of this turning around for you now. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. I'm just going to come back to the comments and then I'm going to show you how to turn it around. Okay. So, Jack is asking, can I read him? No. Can you go back to the beginning of this and see what this whole thing is about, and then you'll understand why not. Okay, so yes, I get like that often. An overwhelming sense of exhaustion hits me hard. Yes. Okay, and I'm blowing your mind. Bless. Okay. Yeah. Let's go there. Let's show you how to read yourself. That's what this is all about. Yeah? Okay, so let's do this. There are two things that you can do that is going to help you. And I'm going to go back to the journal for a second to show you the first one. Okay. And then we'll do the tarot tip. Whee, trippy. Okay, so I'm just going to put page 48 in here. You can see up the top, this is what I've been working on this lockdown. It's a 99-page workbook to help you tune back into yourself. In it, there are some daily wants and needs sheets here. And obviously you can do it yourself, but what the daily wants and needs sheets are is a boiled down process of what I went through from 2016 to 2018. I journaled every single day in the morning because it was that process that would tune me into what I needed and what I wanted. And by the end of it, I would be asking myself, I'd actually be writing the questions. What do I need to do today? What do I want to do today that is going to make me feel this, that is going to fulfill this need and this want? And it might sound nuts, but actually, you know, it was like, oh, I need this, I want this. I had no idea until I had gone through and I had journaled. So what the daily wants and needs list is it's like a fast track bullet point of questions for you to see what you need and want to do in that day. Because, hey, we don't have the time to sit there and journal for hours in the morning, do we? It'd be lovely if we did. And this workbook will be with you in the next couple of weeks or so. I've let it come out once before, but only for people that did the course with me. Now you will be able to get that separately. And also there is an offer coming up on a 10-day digital course that will help you go through these symptoms with it as well. So you will have that choice too. Okay. So that's one thing you can do. You can go into, you can go and journal. Whilst you don't have the workbook, just journal, just sit there. And every morning, instead of picking up the phone, outuition, pick up the pen, intuition, and ask yourself those questions. What is it I want today? What is it I actually need today? What is it that I need to do in the outside world today? But what is it I need to do for me today that is going to make me feel energized, that is going to make me feel inspired, that is going to make me feel nourished? Yes, that's the thing that you can do. All right, and then in a couple of weeks, the workbook will be out for you and you can have a faster track process. But speaking about fast track processes, let's just do a fast track process right now in an instant with what I call the Tarot Feely. It's one of the top 3 practices from my signature program, the Transformational Truth of Tarot. Okay, and what it does is that internal tarot, Jay, that you've been talking about, it tunes you back in to you. Okay, it does that because we're not using our eyes with it. We're closing our eyes. So we're not going into outuition, and we're tuning ourselves, we're training ourselves to go into our own feelings. So to do it, you need tarot, but if you don't have tarot, that's fine. You can just do this as a meditation and intend to link to the card between my hands, because I'm going to intend that this card is a collective message for everybody that sees this, both on a live and on the replay. You'll get to see this message at the right time for you. Okay, one has just flicked over and it's the Ace of Wands, but I'm just going to put it back because, as I said, you have to not know what the card is. We're not using our eyes. So when you have a card, or if you don't have one, just tune into this one. You place it between your hands and you close your eyes and you let go of trying to get what the card is, because that is outuition, right? We're going to use our intuition. So to use our intuition, we just close our eyes, take a nice deep breath in and out, And you relax your energy field. So you're just releasing and letting go. And as you breathe in, you're welcoming the energy of the card through your hands, up through your arms, into your being. And you're tuning into how it makes you feel. Any changes in your physical body? Any changes of temperature, maybe? Keep allowing the card to just open and be received by you. Yes, relax into it and soften your energy and breathe it in and become one. How does it make you feel emotionally? Mentally, how do you feel? Tune into any colors or visions. And then send your thoughts up and say, if there was a message in this card for me today, dear universe, what is it? And allow that message to plonk back in through your head, and maybe you get it through feeling or vision or audio. So just do that now. Just ask, if there's a message in this card for me today, what is it? Breathe in and out and feel yourself receive it. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And if you want to, you can put in the chat box what you got, the message as well as the card. Okay, so feel free to do that and I can help you with that. Also, if you have any questions or comments about what I've said, feel free. That's the time now to come and ask. So I will share with you what I got. I felt like I was on a lilo in a river and with a pina colada and sunglasses, and it was a beautiful sunny day, and the song "Show Me the Way to Go Home, I'm tired and I want to go to bed, I had a little drink about an hour ago and it's gone right to my head," was playing. So that felt like my message, and it felt like the message was just chill and receive, lay back and receive. I really felt like that was the message, and it's a beautiful sunny day out there. I hope it is where you are. I am going to pick up my cat from the vet. She's just had the snip, bless her. So I will definitely be making sure that she's resting and chilling as much as you can make a 5-month-old kitten do. But what card was it that I got? Let's have a look. Right. There's nothing in the 7 of Wands that looks like it is chilling out, is there? But this is exactly my point about using tarot transformatively for your intuition rather than your outuition. So if we read this just by seeing the vision, we would be like, oh, we'd be like focused on the fact that this person's got a hard work story, for instance, yeah? And so the focus goes, it's like what you focus on grows, right? Whereas the Tarot Fili plugs you into your higher self, it plugs you into the message. And my message was to lay back and receive, right? So when it looks like it's the opposite, it's what I call the antidote. Got it? Fab. Okay. So I think we are there for today. Jay says, I have an overwhelming barrier towards my want to be organized. Okay, so that is also the symptom number 5, probably overdoing, overtrying, and overwhelm. As a sun in Virgo, yeah, this is very conflicting because I thrive on organization and order. Cool. So I know one of my daily needs is organize and tidy my sacred space. Yes. I have an overwhelming barrier towards my want to be organized. Okay, there you go. So one day at a time, 1% progress rather than 100% perfection. Being happy with 1% progress a day rather than 100% perfection will help massively with that. Thank you for your participation. Jay, who has also said 6 of Swords, get up and go. Don't be complacent on your needs, colour blue, emotions and mental complacency. Oh, well, it is one of going forwards mentally, isn't it? So there you go. Maybe there's something about the little plan to have 1% progress a day. Okay, and let's just stick up this for you now. And that is what's on offer at the moment. So if you are resonating with any of those 10 symptoms that we've spoken about, please, please, please do apply to have a free, non-obligatory session with me where we will fire up your intuition and we will get clear on those 10 symptoms and how to clear the top 3 symptoms that are blocking you with your intuition and ability to receive your purpose and partnerships and magic and all the awesomeness that you deserve. I will be back with you on Friday at 1 p.m. BST to go through symptom number 8, bouncing from no boundaries to big barriers. And I'd love to see you there. And if you know of anyone that needs that, do also please let them know. Send them my way. Okay? Maybe just ask for them. Send them a request to come in a transformation with Tiffany Crosara, the Facebook group. That's the best place for if you want to follow me. I have 2 groups. I have my paid community, the Transformational Truth of Tarot, where we do the deep, deep, deep work. And then I have my free private Facebook group that anyone can join as long as they obviously abide by the 5 agreements of Don Miguel Ruiz, which is basically my terms and conditions. All right, take care. Lots of love and thank you for being here. Bye for now.